Welcome to the Pinpoint Asia podcast and the Hong Kong Trail Rockers podcast, Chang. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk about something that, as you said, I have a lot of passion and I love it.
All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit, right? Tell us about when you started getting into running and what got you interested in running.
Oof, okay. I started running probably, I think, around year 2009 when I moved to Hong Kong. Before, I didn't do much sports really. Maybe I did a bit of taekwondo in my teenage days, but after starting university, I really stopped doing sports. Maybe the casual playing football here and there, where I grew up in Argentina. But other than that, I wasn't really much into sports. In Hong Kong, when I came, I learned about these Action Asia sprint races, King of the Hills, and I tried one of them, and that's how I got into running. 2009.
So before that, how fit were you?
Not, I think I could say average, like an average person, but not really fit. I could play a football game and feel really tired, I would assume. And on the other hand, I also used to smoke back then. A lot of smoking, a lot of partying, as you can imagine. That doesn't help, right? So I wouldn't say I wasn't unfit, but I wasn't as fit as I am now, for sure.
Normally, right, I mean, when you talk to people, they have some sort of a spark. They go to a doctor and the doctor says cholesterol's through the roof and all that, right? In your case, did anything like that spark your entry into running, or was it just because you wanted to try something new?
So I think it's a combination of a couple of events. I live in Discovery Bay, and when you get off Discovery Bay and you need to go to the IFC shopping center to cross the bridge, there are a couple of stairs. And whenever I get off the ferry to go to work and I'm climbing the stairs, and it's not that many really, it's probably one floor, you could say, and when you're reaching to the top, I was already feeling agitated and out of breath. And over time, because I have 3 kids, I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe I am already so out of breath by climbing just a couple of stairs. And that was, I think it kind of triggered in me a little bit of the thinking of carrying a more healthier lifestyle.
I see. And then you found out that Action Sprints, Action Asia, there was some race, and then you participated.
That's right.
Is that
So
right?
a friend of mine invited me to join one of the sprints races. I think the first one was in Discovery Bay. Basically, well, you know, it's short-ish distance, 11 kilometer, kind of roughly around that distance. And it has to do a bit of adventure where you climb a mountain and then you have to navigate through some river gorges and so on, right? So those races are the ones that really hooked me up because I found it fun, interesting, challenging, and after doing a couple of them, I was thinking, okay, what is next?
Tell me about the what is next bit. So basically, a lot of people, when they start doing something intense, they want to say, okay, this is it, I'm not going to do any more, right? I mean, what got you hooked on to running?
So after doing those sprint races, I remember in a junk party, a friend of mine started to talk about the races, the King of the Hill races, and I was asking, what are they? And they explained to me these are mountain marathons where you run between 30 to 40K, and you climb 2,000 meters, that kind of elevation, and I was a bit shocked to think that people were doing this kind of thing. And that's how they convinced me to sign up for one and stretch the distance, because you never think about running such 30K. It is a lot actually for anyone, right? So knowing something, doing a little bit more stretching to what you're used to also caught my attention. And coming back to your question about what also hooked me into running, the other element that kind of I think I attribute to getting into long distances is I had read this book called 50 Marathon on 50 Days by Dan Carnace, where he explains his journey, his story, and shows also how people are capable of doing incredible things, right? So after reading that book, I remember I finished the book, and normally I would run no more than 10k, between 5 and 10k. That's what I would do to keep fit for the football games here and there. And I remember after finishing the book, I immediately went for a 20k run. And if you tell somebody that normally runs between 5 to 10k to double the distance, this is what you get. The normal answer is, I need to train for the distance, it's 20k, and I need to be prepared, but the fact that if you have the right motivation, it shows that you can do it. And I remember I did the 20k after reading the book, and I was really to the death. I was super tired, but having achieved doubling the distance without major training or major, okay, I'm gonna do 20k in the next 3 months to achieve that goal. The fact that you were able to do it also gave me a little bit of satisfaction.
I see. Okay. At this point, right, did you have kids at that point or not?
Yes.
And how old were they in 2009?
So in 2009, I had 2 kids, but 3 kids. The third one was born in 2009 in November, and the eldest one was 6, and the middle one 3 years old.
Okay, so at this point, you started to train, right, and that took time away from family, right? How did you manage that?
Yes, indeed. Although I have to say the training part I took more seriously in the last 10 years, I would say, but back then when I was starting, I wasn't training so consistently or so, I wasn't putting so much time like I am now, to be honest, but I would sign up to these long races where you are out many of the day, pretty much for the most of the weekend. During weekdays, 2-3 times a week you be out training, but a little bit. But yes, it's still time that you are out. You are not with your family. First, I think you have to explain to your family. My wife has always been super supportive. The fact that you are not there to change the diapers, for example, in the evening, and she knows I went for a quick running, but then you make up being there for other things also, right? So I think so long you are there for your family and compensate, you can still do it. And as the kids grow, I always try to also make them part of my lifestyle in a way. On the weekends we would go hiking, and while we hike, we end to a place and I do a quick run, and then I come back, we go to a beach. My wife would go to the beach on a taxi and I would go running. So I always try to find a way where I can make the training part of the activity, let's say, with the family. And that's also important, right? And luckily my family, they really like outdoors, which is also helpful, right? So you can plan this kind of thing.
Were you still smoking when you at this point, or did you completely quit?
No, I had quit.
You quit, yeah. And was that easy for you, difficult for you after you got into running?
No, I remember I didn't suffer or struggle to quit. When I took the decision to quit, I didn't struggle much. I remember, I think when I did a couple of the Action Asia sprint races, I wasn't winning because, of course, I'm not the super, right? But then I was pretty much well positioned in the above, mid to above kind of category, and that gave me the impression, at least to myself, I'm not that bad. And I was thinking, if I should quit smoking, maybe I can do better. And that reasoning was also there, right? On top of knowing that it's super unhealthy, which is something that you know, but you never really realize, and you're not conscient about this, right? So these little things helped me realize that. And then also the fact that I was having my third kid, this out of breath, I attributed also the smoking, that climbing a few few stairs, right? I was trying to find out the root cause, let's say. So I do remember attributing that to the smoking. For sure it is correlated, right?
I see. So I think I first met you around 2011, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Hong Kong 100 race, yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, that's the first ever edition of the Hong Kong 100.
That's right.
I remember both of us were lost at some checkpoint. I think just before, was it Hoi Ha? Just before Hoi Ha.
Thailand, huh, maybe?
Yeah, we were lost. And then you helped me find the direction or whatever. And then I think we finished around the same time, if I remember right, around 15, 16 hours or whatever it was.
Yes,
the very first
under
time.
16 hours, the very first time 16 hours.
Yes, I remember
That's
that,
right.
yeah. After that, I mean, I'm at the same level, whereas you kind of did that, yeah? So what happened? Like, how did you end up from a 100-kilometer run in the year 2011 or so to doing like 400 kilometers or whatever, 298, 4 trails? How did that happen?
I think first, and probably this is a misconception, people think that because you do more longer distance, you are better or you're faster. Actually, it's not. Sometimes I do longer distances because I'm slower. It's just that nobody wants to be out suffering for so long, right? I'm sure the top super fast runners in the 50K or 100K, I'm definitely sure that they can do 200K, 300K. It's just that they don't have the patience to be out there for so long. I think that's important. To your question, how I got from what you were saying, from a 16-hour to doing longer distance. It doesn't necessarily mean you're faster. It does take training. I don't want to diminish the effort that it takes. It does take training. You need to improve in many things also. But I think with a little bit of training, I'm sure if you had put the necessary training, you could have continued progressing, right? As anything, there is a progression curve until you hit the plateau, and everyone has to find when is that time that you hit. As anything, when you start a new activity, you are learning new things, you are picking up new things, and the progression is super high in a short time frame until you get enough, and then you hit the plateau and you're stale. But then you need to find other factors that will help you spark that, hit the curve again up, right? For me, after that first run, I was so excited about I think we got gold, because in Hong Kong 100, if you do under 100, under 16 hours, you get the gold. That really excited me, that wow, I can, again, the surprise factor that you, without really, because we were doing these small races here and there, but not maybe doing a run twice a week, you know, that we are able to do that and achieve the gold status, the gold medal, was significant enough for me to say, wow, you can do this. How about you can push, you can put the gear, if you drive manual, you drive the gear one notch up to see what you can get. And I remember I trained a little bit more, not necessarily, not as much as I'm training now, but I put a bit more of effort, more focus. I think at that year I was just stopped quitting smoking. And the second year I came back to Hong Kong 100 and I did it under 13 hours, 12:40 something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
It was phenomenal improvement. And then I remember asking you how you did it as well. Because remember, both of us did it like 15, 16 hours. And then you went up and you did it in sub 13 after that, the following year.
Yes. Yes.
I remember that. So, I mean, so at this point, roughly, right, how many hours did you spend a week training?
At that time of my phase of running, I think probably on the weekends I would put some 2-3 hours doing these long runs, going to the beach. We used to go a lot to Puyo and Chongsha Beach. So other than a couple of hours over the weekend, during weekday, I didn't put that much. Maybe 2 hours. I had just joined the gym. I really got hooked up with spinning. And spinning is great, and I still do it because in 45 minutes you put all in and you get a lot out of it because it's a very cyclical, high intensity, and you really work. You know, in spinning, I don't know if you've done spinning before, but it's really up to you. Really, you can cheat. You know, the instructor is telling you, okay, let's go one notch harder. 3 minutes all out, you know, this kind of thing. If you want, you can really not go hard and just pretend, all right? But I would really follow the instructor's instruction, and I really, you know, after the 45-minute session, I was really knackered. So I think that also helped me, this kind of training, where you do a lot of high intensity in short time frame, because I had just moved to Hong Kong. I was having a lot of, stressful, I guess. I had to deliver a lot of stuff for the project, the work I was doing. So I was working pretty long hours. I didn't have much time, right? So I had to squeeze whatever free time that I had into training. Spinning was one of them, one way to do it, you know. An activity that in such short time frame, 45 minutes, is good quality, you know.
I see. So roughly we're talking about, say, 10 hours a week or so, something of that sort at that point.
No, not even.
Not even, yeah.
Not even, probably 7 hours.
About 7 hours a week.
7 hours a week.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. From there, okay, let's go to what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about two things today, right? One would be the Pekoe Trail in Sri Lanka, right? And the other would be the El Camino.
The Camino De Santiago.
We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about, first of all, the tsunami experience. Talk about that. What happened there? You were vacationing with your family in Sri Lanka.
That's right. So we went for holidays in Sri Lanka. This was, I guess, it was around the tsunami, the end of 2004. The history about going to Sri Lanka is because I have very close friends living in Sri Lanka now, but back then these friends were on their way to explore Sri Lanka, and they had been there many times, and they invited us to go with them. I can't remember. I think they had already moved to Sri Lanka, so we went. Yes, they had already moved to Sri Lanka 1 or 2 years, and we went to spend Christmas, New Year with them. And I had just had our first kid. In December 2004, she was about 1 year plus, a couple of months, and we went to hang out and visit my friends, and we were staying in a bungalow, approximately about 150 meters away from the beach shore. Which is also, we were very lucky to stay in a place like that and know that the bungalows right in front of the beach. Of course, we took that because it was a cheaper option. So sometimes it can work in your favor, and not going for the most, pristine or luxury. Had we stayed at the forefront, at the first line of the bungalows,
we wouldn't be speaking today.
God knows, right? But still, how powerful was the tsunami that the water still got us to the point where we were. And when it happened, I remember waking up very early because of the noise of people shouting. I remember waking up and hearing a lot of noises, women screaming, and I thought it was kind of some festival going on. Because you're in Sri Lanka, you don't know what kind of events there are. And we opened the window, the main door, and I see this massive amount of mass of water coming toward us, coming very slowly but fast, right? Because it's already the water that hit the beach, and now slowly is coming into the back, right? And my first thought is to look up, because I didn't understand. I thought it was raining, some heavy rain, but it was super sunny. So you're in a state of shock. You don't understand what's going on, because literally it's difficult to imagine a massive amount of water just coming to you, right? So that's how it happened. The first reaction was to get Irati, my daughter.
Your wife was also there.
Yeah, we were together. It was just one room. Our kid was right next to us, so grabbing her, and we were hearing, "Come out, come out! Come out quickly! The water is coming!" And I remember with our friend's wife crossing the water from the moment that I saw the water coming. It must have been a few seconds. I grabbed my kid, my wife also together coming out. The water was already at this level.
Wow.
So that just tells you how fast, right? And I remember going through the water and my friend telling us, let's go to that bungalow. There was a bungalow in halfway construction with some ladder. So we climbed that ladder going to the rooftop to be safe, right? That was our tsunami experience. And then it continued. There was the second wave coming in. And then the aftermath with Miguel Cuñat, my friend, which we'll talk about that when we talk about the Pekoe Trail. Once everything kind of died off, exploring with my friend with a camera to see all the damages, the dead bodies that were there, and everything else, right?
You saw that in front of you?
Yes, unfortunately, but that was the reality at that moment, right? And people don't talk much about this. Not to say one is greater impact or not, but when people talk about the tsunami, most of the time people talk about the tsunami, how it hit in Phuket, right? People imagine, tsunami, Thailand, Phuket, but people don't know that Sri Lanka had, I think, three or four times more casualties than Phuket. I just throw this data point because I think it's part of Sri Lanka was much more underdeveloped and the water did hit a little bit stronger, I think. Yes.
So your friend Miguel, he was based there at that point?
Yes, he was already based. Yeah. And then he never left. He continued. Now he loves Sri Lanka, of course, and he knows Sri Lanka inside out very well. He eventually ended up setting up a very successful business there, promoting tourism in Sri Lanka, and that's what he does. Yes.
I see. Right, so from there, what happened? So you obviously went back there, yeah? Tell us about that,
So after that, so Miguel ended up working with European Economic Development Organization, something like this, to build a trail system in Sri Lanka connecting all the tea plantations. So he has been working on this project for, to be honest, I didn't know about this project he was working, because we lost touch in time, and while we are still super connected, these are the things that happen, right? And so I know he's been working on this project for, I think, between 3-4 years, and when he completed the project, he posted, finally the Pekoe, Sri Lanka Pekoe Trail is finalized. Very proud to present this. And I'm reading his post and I'm looking at the details. And coincidentally, the whole distance of the Pekoe Trail is 300 km. So they go from it's a point-to-point system where you navigate through most of the big tea plantations in Sri Lanka. And Miguel, he's Spanish. He kind of took the concept of the Camino De Santiago, which is a pilgrimage route in the north of Spain, between France and Spain, where the whole journey is divided into different stages, and in each stage you stop at the village or the town to rest and also eat, rest, and then the next day you continue with your pilgrimage. This is in Spain, right? So he took that idea and he implemented in Sri Lanka with the objective of not only just promoting Sri Lanka, but also the end game is really to help the local communities and local villages build their microeconomy kind of system. And by building this trail, the intention is for hikers from all over the world come, discover the beauty of Sri Lanka, and help promote the local communities, which is a great idea. I think it's really a beautiful idea. And he finished that and he put all the details. And when I read the distance 300 km, I was like, Miguel, but I can't believe this. What is it about? And he explained me all this story that I'm telling you. It's in 22 stages. It has a bit of elevation, this and that. And I'm telling him, but dude, I need to do this in one go. And he was like, I have his recording on WhatsApp, the message he left me. He was cracking up. Like, what are you talking about? What have you been smoking, right? In one go, 300 km is impossible. Of course, he knows I was running here and there, but people don't realize the magnitude of the distance, right? Because the moment you start talking about marathon distance, 40 km, 50 km, you start talking about 100 km, 200, 300 km. I am sure the average person on the street, they don't. It's all the same. 50 km, 100 km. They don't know the difference. You know how adding another 100 km can be significantly different, right? Because it's just so out of the ordinary to go beyond 40 km, right? I guess. So he was cracking up and telling me, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said yes, because it means so much. It means going back to Sri Lanka. We always wanted to go back there to see it after the tsunami. We were not been able to see it after the tsunami event happened. So it has been a long time. I have very fond memories of everything that happened. Actually, my daughter was conceived in Sri Lanka, we believe, because the year before Sri Lanka, we also went there. So that was the third time that we were going. So I have a lot of special memories about Sri Lanka. Our very good friends, Miguel and Irstel, they were living there. We haven't seen them for quite some time. We really like them a lot, and we wanted to catch up with them. So I said, yes, why not? And this is 1 year after I had finished the Hong Kong 4 trails, which by then was the farthest distance I had run. And I was also thinking, what's next? As part of, what is next? You've done 4 trails. What is the next adventure I can think of? So all these things combined, this came, and I said, this is what a great opportunity to capture all this, and that's when I decided to go for it. Initially, I wanted to do solo, totally solo, unsupported, but actually the trail is there, but it's difficult to. It's not like the Mankel host with proper. Some parts are still very virgin or very unmanned, right? So I was quite. I had some concerns about that. So Miguel offered me, Chang, will support you. Don't worry. And when he told me this, I thought, okay, yeah, he'll be at about, I don't know, 30, 40K. Every 40K, he'll be waiting. He was asking me, what do you need? Food, water. I just asked him how often I can refill water and food. Listen, the 22 stages is between 10, 15, at most 20K. There is always a village. So don't worry, you'll always find a place to get water or something. So I was imagining he would support me about something like every 4, because I also didn't want to bother him too much, because I think this is also important. Sometimes when people offer you help, you shouldn't abuse. You know what I mean? So I was planning to tell him, okay, every 50K, just be here to help me with new gear so I can switch, with a refill of new shoes or t-shirt. But then what he did was even amazing. He went to talk to the tourism board of Sri Lanka. He went to tell them what I was coming to Sri Lanka to do. And the tourism office of Sri Lanka, they really welcomed the idea, and they set up a whole crew with cameramen, with people following me, and 2 teams, one for the day and another for the night, to follow me. And every 15K-ish, roughly, they were waiting for me at specific checkpoints with everything, with food, water. They even give me some massage at some point. And at each important stages, there will be a cameraman crew coming and follow me, taking picture or video about the event. It was just incredible the support, and that's how he planned it. But he told me we need to check first with a wildlife specialist, because at evening you will go through some very wild areas, and it can be dangerous, right? And on this one, he was also cracking up and laughing. I don't know what you're gonna do with the leopards in the evening. Yeah. Right?
Now, at this point, I want to ask, what about your wife, though? Like, so when you're going to be running, although it's supported, right? You're still going solo for 15, 20 kilometers in the night, yes, by yourself.
That's right.
And there are animals around, right? Isn't she going, Chang, are you crazy? Why do you want to do this? No?
No, I think she knows, or I'm already a bit crazy. So she's already used to this kind of thing. But she knew it's an adventure. I'm very well supported by Miguel and all the crew that was there. It gave her a bit of comfort that it wasn't going to be that dangerous. Of course, anything can happen, as you know. Even in normal races, something can happen. You can fall off a cliff. Anything can happen, right? And yes, indeed, this one you're going a little bit onto the unknown, because many of the trails are not being that time now 2-3 years ago unmanned or not maintained. Now there is a proper maintenance. They have a team to maintain trails stage by stage. So it's pretty amazing how it is now. But that time, being the first year being open, there were still sections that were not that well maintained. So the danger part is always there, right? And I'm assuming she was worried, but she doesn't show sometimes, because if she gets worried, it makes the situation it can plant more doubts in you also, right? I think.
So how did you deal with the leopards, the possibility of the leopards? So Miguel tells you, look, you're going in the night, there could be leopards, so be careful. So how did you deal with that?
So I didn't really consider that when he told me about it. and he told me about leopards and cobras and the snakes.
Wow.
And I was telling him, we live in Lantau. Actually, you know this, Lantau, it can be quite dangerous also with all the snakes in summer. So we've done so many runs through the evening, in the night, crossing Lantau with Trans-Lantau Race or Lantau 70. So the snake part, I wasn't that worried. The leopard, maybe it did made me think about, but he said, Chang, for this to happen, I need to consult the wildlife specialist. I forgot the name. Somebody that lives in Sri Lanka is an expert on animals and the wildlife in Sri Lanka. And he explained to him what we were going to do, and he said, yes, he can do it, but he just needs to carry a bell from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So, like a cow, yeah?
Yes.
Like you're going around Switzerland or whatever, you find those cows with a bell, ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So you're one of those guys.
Something like that. Of course, it wasn't a big bell, but it was a small, but loud enough. I was carrying here on my naked belt. I tied,
Yeah.
and that's what we would do. At 6 p.m. In the next checkpoint, at around 6-7 p.m., I would grab the bell and tie to my naked belt and start running. So because I went through 2 nights. The first night it was I did have a feeling of when you start, because when you leave the team, the checkpoint and the town, and you start getting into the jungle, that's when you start, all your fears start to come, right? No, okay, now I'm on my own. What if something happens? And I think that feeling I got probably the first hour, and once you are there, you forget about it and you just continue running. From time to time, I would hear some noise, and I would be looking back if something is something behind my back or something. But then I would try to make the bell ring a little bit louder. But other than these couple of things, I didn't feel that much. Oh my God, I'm in real danger. Yeah.
So the only light is your headlight, your flashlight, right?
That's right.
That's it, yeah?
That's
And
right.
it's very quiet. Temperature is...
Temperature was hot and humid, and I think that wasn't a problem because, as you know, living and training in Hong Kong, it plays to your advantage, right? Yeah.
So at what point during the trail, right, did you feel like, was there a point where you felt like this is too much? No, what am I going to do? Or were there any scary moments?
So from a distance and effort, I took it very easy. So I was never pushing like hard because I took it very much like adventure, enjoying the moment, exploring, discovering new landscapes, new views. So I wasn't pushing to say I need to beat certain time. I didn't have that in mind, so that gave me a little bit of pressure to take it a little bit easier. It doesn't mean I didn't feel it in the legs. After the first day, my legs were pretty tight, and I was feeling tired. But then if there was any moment that I said, oh my God, what am I gonna do, is there's a section around halfway through, towards the end, I think halfway through, there's a section where there are these huge grass. It has a name. They're very light color, green, long leaves. They are grass really, but it's very long, and you can cover your height a little bit higher than you. And all this is with the GPS, right? Because there are no markings. There are many sections, there are trails, but many places there's no trail. You just follow. I was following the GPS track that Miguel had built by building the trail system, right? So I was following blindly the line of the GPX. So there's a moment where there was a path on one way, but the GPS was telling me that I had to go through this junction, and it's evident there was a little bit of trail, but because it's not maintained, the grass just covered it all, right? And there were some bamboos and this grass leaves very tall. So because I see there is a bit of, at the beginning, a bit of trail path, I start getting into it because I'm blindly following, because I have to follow the course. I don't want to appear in some other village and then having to, because also you don't want to, the objective was to follow the original track and not find your own way to come back, because first it kind of not defeat the purpose, but then you're not following the original route, right? So I was very clear about that, and I start going through into it, and then the trail start disappearing, and the leaves is all leaves. And I look on my Strava, it's no more than, I think, 500 meters maybe. But then once you're in, I try to clear the way, but it's so much, and it really felt like the jungle was starting to eat you alive, really, because there's no way, because you go clearing. I was with my poles, I was pushing to make a bit of space so I could continue, but then of course once you cross, the bag is closed. The leaves will come back to its original shape, and then you cannot go back either, right? So you're slowly getting deeper and deeper into it, to the point that I started to even jump through it, because there was no way I could push. And these are leaves, very tall leaves, grass. And I was starting to feel agitated, and the claustrophobia, because you are really surrounded by, and you cannot see anywhere. And I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it just continued, and it felt like, I think I stayed, if you look at my Strava segment on that area, you will see a little bit of, the line. I think I stayed like at least an hour or more, almost 2 hours, trying to, in a 500 meter distance, right? A bit over an hour, just tells you how difficult it was to get out of it. At that point, I was really, that was the only moment that I said, what the F, oh my God, and then I didn't have a phone signal there on top of that. So that moment, I felt in danger, and I was really scared, and I didn't know what to do.
Wow, I think you just kept doing it, and then
I had no choice. I had no choice, so you just kept, and luckily
you couldn't go back to the previous.
Yeah, but I was already so much into it, so I was wondering, because I could see in the map there's a turning point. So I just wanted to get to the junction where you turn, and I could see there was a clear, proper, bigger trail or something. It's evident, very close there is something. So I wanted to make it there, and I was getting close, but it was just never ending. It was really, So I just continue, because returning would have been even worse.
Yeah, I have to ask, aren't you afraid, like so afraid that it's nighttime, there's nobody around you, don't have a cell phone signal? How do you not panic?
I think you need to maintain your cool and follow the path. Really, and we are used to when you've done so many 100-mile races where you go one night, having done four trails where you pretty much go through 2 evenings without sleep, and I'm very bad at orientation, and you can ask my friends, I always get lost everywhere. Doing 4 trails with a GPX gave me a lot of confidence that I can navigate. So I have the night experience, I have the endurance and the long distance experience, and that kind of give you, if you keep your cool, you don't stress, and you slowly, if there is a path and you follow the path, you will eventually come out. so long there are no other dangers like leopards, I guess, right? You can. It's not that bad. The situation is not that terrifying.
What
let's
about
say.
mosquitoes? They don't, not many, or?
No, I didn't feel mosquitoes at all. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, easier said than done. I'm sure. I've done night marking in Hong Kong, and I'm always scared. Like, where's the next snake?
Yeah.
I also think about ghosts. So what if there's a ghost behind me? So,
I think sometimes also thinking, if you think too much, it's also to avoid thinking and focus also.
Did you sleep, or was it all
I
power naps?
I had, in the whole journey, I had 3 power naps.
3 power naps. How
Also
long were
about
these
10
power naps?
minutes.
10 minutes each, yeah.
Yes,
So
10
under
minutes each.
58 hours, was it?
Yeah, 15, almost 59 hours.
59 hours, and then 3 power naps, so half an hour you slept in 59 hours, yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Hallucinations? You don't, yeah?
No, but maybe yes. It always a bit cloudy. On the second night, you will see the usual trees moving, or the trees look like a person. This kind of thing you will see.
Wow, I still have to digest that, So, take us to the finish. You're finishing, what happens then?
No, and then the finishing was very exciting, because from the last village to the finishing line, so there is a village very close to the finishing line. So my family were waiting for me with my kids. Was super emotional. I still have very dear to one of the best things. So my family was waiting for me. We crossed the village together, and my kids came. I think it was probably 3K, not long, right? So my kids came with me. We hiked the last 3-4K. And then all the villagers were forming a how you call like the tour, like a tunnel for us to pass, and cheering us. That's really magical. I think there's no words to describe the feeling. And then there are all the village people, the appreciating you are there. I don't think there are many foreigners passing through that area, right? And how welcoming they are, supporting you. Actually, at many of the points, I was going through the villages. They were all asking, because they don't expect somebody like me, non-local, with trekking poles through the night. And they are, where are you going? Where are you going? I'm going to this point. But you have to go that way. It's shorter. And I'm trying to explain to them, no, I have to go the Pekoe Trail, and they still don't know. Many of them, I guess, I don't know if now everyone knows, but about the existence of the name of the trail system, right? And they were, no, you are going wrong. They were trying to help me in their way, right? No, this is shorter. You have to go this way. But then we finished with my family, and when we got there, the whole crew was waiting for me. It was really beautiful and magical moment.
Wow, sounds that way for sure. Yeah. Did you sleep for a long time after that, just to recover, or?
Yes, I slept. What I do normally in these races, a little bit, a couple of hours. You really get to sleep on day 2. Probably because you have so much caffeine in you. The gels.
I see.
Every time it's possible, I drink coffee, and then your body is in shock, right? So you don't sleep well the first night. You do rest. You try not to move much, but you only really get to sleep well on day 2 or even day 3, I would say.
Wow, what an experience! I can't even fathom that. All right, so take us to Camino De Santiago. I keep calling it El Camino based on, have you seen Breaking Bad? The Netflix thing,
Yes.
They've got a movie called El Camino or something. But so this is part
Well, it's
two.
called El Camino de Santiago.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
So this one is, I think, 1,000 kilometers is what I read, like different routes. Yeah.
So Camino de Santiago, there is the official route. the one that starts in Pied de Pont in France, and it ends in Galicia, and that covers a distance of almost 780 k
Wow.
distance, with a total elevation of about I think it's 13,000 elevation. It's a lot, but if you spread in the distance, it is not that much, right? Because you do 11,000 in Mont Blanc or one of the 100 milers, right? So if you compare to 100 milers, it doesn't look like much, but as it is stretched through 700k, it sounds less, but the big chunk of the elevation is towards the end. So actually end up being a lot, because pretty much the whole 80% of the course is very flat. And then you do I think in the beginning you do about 2,000 at the very beginning. There's a bit of mountain in the French part, and then once you enter Spain, it gets super flattish with a few rolling hills or a very minor up and downs, maybe at most 100 meters here and there at most, and then all the elevation is to the end. By then it's actually quite a lot. Been running for 600k, so your legs are trashed, right? So that aspect is there. I never got to see that part because I DNF halfway through, right?
We'll come to that. So you wanted to do obviously everything in one go, yeah?
That's right.
600 kilometers in one go.
780.
780 in one go. This was 1 year back, right? It was 2020.
This year.
Oh, 24.
July this year.
Yeah. So what happened? Why was there a DNF? How did you prepare for it?
So first the notion of Camino de Santiago came because post Sri Lanka, again what is next, the curiosity of what you want to do next. Should I do something like 300? I do want to do Tour de Chang, which is an amazing event as well. You know which one, right?
That's one Jerry did. Jerry Chua in Singapore.
Yes, I think, okay, yeah. So that's in Italy, but you need to go through lottery, and so I didn't get in. And I also wanted to do something special, not like a race. And then it stuck on my mind the story from Miguel, where he came with the idea of the Pekoe Trail. It came from the concept of Camino de Santiago, and I've been hearing about Camino de Santiago. You always hear from people. Did you hear about Camino de Santiago before me?
I did not. I only knew El Camino from Breaking Bad.
So, but it's very common in Europe, in South America, because Christian, it has to do with religion. Camino de Santiago is something very popular, I would say, in the mainstream of religious people or religious or Catholic countries, I guess. So I've always been hearing Camino de Santiago. I heard about it's a journey to find yourself. It's a great way to do hiking. It's a great way to do it with your friend, with your wife. Many people do it on their own, to have a self-reflection, this kind of discovery, right? So I've been hearing these kind of stories, but I never really bothered pay attention until Miguel. And then when trying to look for my next adventure, I searched Camino de Santiago, the distance, and I thought it was really, it would be something around 300, 400. But when I saw 780, I said, that's going to be something. And I hesitated, of course, because I never ran more than 300k, and this is beyond the double, right? More than 600 for sure. And I think that also kind of why I decided to go for it, because it's always coming to, we were talking about running from 10k to 20k, what can be the next thing that you could challenge yourself? Not that doing Tour de Chang 300k, what's the elevation of Tour? I think 20,000,
yes,
something crazy. I'm sure this is super difficult and challenging, but this is an event pretty much mainstream between the trail running community. Tour, I think everyone knows about Tour. So I wanted to do something different, and that's kind of what took me into to try to challenge myself and do it, right? And the fact that it is also totally unknown, like not many people try to do something like this. And actually, it's part of the story. There are FKTs. I think you know FKT, the fastest known time. There is an FKT recorded for this path, and I was telling you, Camino de Santiago is the one. This course is called the French path because it starts in France. And Camino de Santiago actually has many different paths. It has from Portugal to Spain. It has another one from the southeast of Spain. There are hundreds of different ways or different paths, but the official one is the French path, which is the kind of official one. And the FKT on this path is, there is a supported and unsupported FKT. The supported one is 6 hours and 15 hours, 1-5. That's the, and then I think the unsupported, 6 days and 15 hours. Yeah. And the unsupported is, I think, 9 days. And I hesitated a bit which one I should attempt. And because I don't know anything about it, and I coincidentally, I bump into, now is a very good friend of mine in Spain. I met this guy who is an amazing runner as well, much older than me, much faster than many of us here. It's just incredible. He has his own, you should do a podcast about him probably. So he told me he wanted to do Camino de Santiago, and we said, let's do it together. And we've been planning about this together for a year. And he suggested me we should do it with a caravan, with a van waiting for us on where we sleep. We run through the day until 10 p.m. We sleep 5 hours, and at 5 in the morning, the next day we start running. And I said, fine, yeah, let's do it, because I don't know anything about Camino de Santiago. I have no knowledge. I've never went to explore because you don't have time also to go. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of time to go check out, do a recce, understand the trail, understand how it works. So I just came along with Carlos. His name is Carlos Moran, and I kind of followed his advice. And our goal was to do it just under 6 days, supported under 6 days. So we wanted to slash that 15 hours that the official guide has done it. So that was the goal, really. So we got together. Of course, we met the weekend before to arrange the logistics. He helped rent a van where you can sleep. And with a friend of him driving, and another friend coming with us on a bicycle to support us with water, food, whatever that we needed. And that's how we started. Yes.
So you started, and then how long did you went? Halfway?
So we went 4 days. I ran close to 380 kilometers because. Because normally I take the long holidays in July, which is the summertime with the kids' school, and that's really the only time that I can take about 2 weeks holiday with the family. And they came along. Actually, my wife and my kids came, and they were waiting for me at some of the villages to support me and kind of cheer me. So it was hot. I highlight this fact about July because that's the worst time in Spain, really. It's the hottest.
35, 38 degrees?
Yeah, 38 degrees, even more sometimes. And then no cloud, the sun hitting you straight. So actually it's not the best time. They recommend to do Camino de Santiago towards the end of spring or beginning of autumn, right? Or mid-autumn, where the temperature is more friendly. But sometimes you cannot choose. You cannot choose the perfect moment, the perfect. You just have to do it when you can do it, and that's why I did it in July, and we started. And right after the second day, I started to have blisters on my feet. I normally don't have blisters, and I attribute to that to the wrong choice of shoes. Because I was wearing the same shoes that I normally wear on my trail running. And actually the ones I was wearing is the one that I use on UTMB in Chiang Mai 100-mile race. I didn't even have to change shoes. I ran the whole race, over 30, just about 30 hours with the same shoes, no problem, right? But the problem here that I didn't expect this is Camino de Santiago. Once you do a bit of trail in the beginning, the rest is flat.
Yeah.
And the terrain is either asphalt, like a road, the highway, or gravel. The road with little stones or rocks.
I don't like them.
And it's not 5K, 10K, it's 100K, like that, non-stop. And because I'm wearing shoes with low altitude, low support, you're very much in contact with the terrain, right? And I think hitting the ground on the same side of your feet non-stop for 16 hours, at the end you get friction, and I think that's how I developed the blisters. And I started to have blisters on the back, on the front, on the toes, on the middle, and then the small toe as well. So day 2 I tried to hang on to it. Day 3 it was hurting. I pumped the liquid out and I put the bandage. But then on the 4th day, you're just continue rubbing on the same spot. It was getting this pus kind of color. And not only that, the pain was just, because there's mental pain and then there's a physical pain. The first one is up to you how to deal. But if it's physical pain, it gets a moment that it can be dangerous, right? I mean, if you have, your legs are tired and your muscles are hurting, that you can bear. You slow down, right? You just slow down and you can, you just go slower. But this kind of pain where when every step, when you touch, is hurting like hell, that, and especially with the color of the liquid coming, it didn't feel, it can become something else, right? So I said, so that, and just the pain was really unbearable. So I said, I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it in 6 days, and not even 7 or 8 days, because at that point it wasn't even about walking, because even walking was hurting. So I said, I'm gonna quit here, and I will come back maybe next year.
Wow.
Yes.
Carlos, what happened to him?
He quit. He had quit the day, and then that also kind of, I think, hadn't he quit, I would have quit anyway. But he quit the day before, and for him it was a different story. 2 weeks before the event, he got bitten by an insect and he developed an infection. And on day 2, I could see him feverish, and his leg was swollen, and he didn't look good. And he decided to DNF the day before, on day 3. I continued one more day until I
Yeah, I think I remember. I think pretty weird. That's a photo that I saw of you on your Facebook after the trail. That's your
That's
vista
right.
there. You know?
Yes. So I
Yeah.
have another picture. This one I posted because still shareable on social media, but I have another one which I can show you after, which you can see how bad it is. That one, it is really not for the faint of heart, because you see that and like, wow.
Wow. Okay, I even imagining it, and also 380K over 4 days, right? It's not. It's like almost 100K per day.
Something
It's
like
like
that.
every day you do a trail walker.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean, that alone is not fathomable. You know.
But I finished with good mindset and with a very positive mindset, thinking this is doable. I think it can be done. So I didn't come, oh, this is impossible. There's no way you can do it. Now I understand the terrain. I understand the system. Every 10K-ish, there's a village where the hikers of Camino, the pilgrimage people, and this is the idea. They hike up, they do 20K a day, you know, and they stop in a village, these are many of them are public dorms, hike for hikers. So you can, it's the first in, check in, you get a bed until the dorm is full, and then you go to the next one, and then there are some paid ones. So the concept is the hikers go do 20K, 10 or 20 or 30, whatever, you know. They sleep at the dorm, and then they continue the next day. They do another 20K. So that's kind of the idea, right? So I know very well the how these villages are, where to get water, because that's the other main concern that I had. Where do you get water through the night, right? But
the caravan guy is not going to be in the night, yeah?
Hmm?
The guy on the cycle supporting you is not going to...
He was coming all the way with us. Yeah. That's also amazing how the amount of support that we had. But then because Carlos is much stronger than me, he will go front, and then the supporter will go on the bike with him and back with me, and he'll be, you know, like a yo-yo.
Yeah.
But I came with the idea that it can be done. You know, all these villages, as many European towns, they have a public water fountain.
Yeah.
You know, in Europe, you've been to Chamonix, right?
Yeah.
Or France, all the villages at the beginning, at the entrance or exit of the village, you have the public water fountain, and you can get water, cool, fresh water. So I think it can be done. So I'm strategizing what to do next year. Very likely, I will attempt a solo attempt.
Yeah. Not with Carlos.
Not with Carlos, unsupported. I would like to do, I think, because I came with, I'm so positive that even Phantom, probably I shouldn't be saying this on a podcast like this, because you know. But this is where my mind is going to. I think it is possible to do unsupported within 6 days.
Wow. So but the previous FKT was 9 days, right?
Unsupported.
Unsupported. So you want to bring it down to 6 days, unsupported.
That's right. Yes.
Wow. So in terms of what is next, that's next for you in 2025.
Yeah. So 2025, I have a couple of things, and the timing is very important. Because the 2 years before I did Hard Rock, which, you know, I would like to go back and do it again. And as you know, Hard Rock is very difficult to get a place. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Now that I managed to finish once, I'm in a smaller pool of the lottery ticket, so I have very high chance of getting in. So if I'm going to sign up again in December, if I get in, I will prioritize Hard Rock to do it. If I don't get in, I will do the attempt of the Camino de Santiago.
Again in July? Or?
Again in July, yeah. What are you going to do?
Wow. So 780 kilometers of unsupported. But between hard rock and this sounds way more challenging. Right? Not to take anything away from hard rock, but
No, I think there are different challenges. One is more mental. Hard rock could be both because you are running at altitude, so at 4,000 meters.
I think Andre Bloomberg did that, if I remember
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Andre
He had a
did
tent and
couple
all
of
that at
times.
home
Yes,
to do it. Yeah,
yes.
I remember interviewing him too. He was telling me about it.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So I think there are different challenges, not necessarily one harder than the other.
Yeah.
Both are difficult.
Wow. Okay. I know we've been going for a while, but I'm going to ask you some couple of quick questions. Right? You said mental versus physical. Right? How do you deal with the mental? What do you tell yourself? I mean, running for like say 100 miles or 300 kilometers, whatever it is, right? You must go through those things where why am I doing this? What is this? What a waste of time or whatever. What do you tell yourself?
So there are different tactics and strategies. I think, and you use one or the other from time to time. So it's cyclical. You start with the face. You start with why I'm doing this, why you get into this kind of thing, but then once that's you know that that's gonna happen, so you need to accept it, and then the next phase is also not to think too much about it.
But do you have a pre-recorded answer? Like for example, when you're running and you're very tired and you want to give up. I mean, I think I spoke to Jerry and she had some things written down somewhere and she memorized it and she would say that to herself. Do you have something like that?
Not pre-recorded, but I already know what to do.
And what do you do?
I look for the next tree, the next something, the next station, and I try to stay in the moment. Not too much. I want to be able to finish. I'm not gonna the negative thoughts, right? So you try to shorten the. In a way, it's tricking your mind, right? I guess, and sometimes you're stupid that you fail for it because you know there's more after that, right? But the ideal thing I try to do is not to think too much, and then you yourself you get lost on your own, and that will trigger other thoughts that you forget about it, and suddenly you are beyond 2 more stations.
You've done so much already, right? Why not say to yourself, I'm going to rest on my laurels, I've done quite a few things, that's it,
No, I think for me, I take it as a lifestyle, not to do, I've done hard rock, UTMB, 4 trails, and now I can throw the gloves like a boxer. This is part of your lifestyle and it's part of the journey because I think it gives the end becomes the mean at the end, right? And that goes along with the story of hard rock. It took me 10 years to get a place. So in the beginning I want to sign up for the next hard rock qualifier. And I think this is a good analogy or a good story that I like to tell because the first 2-3 years, I want to do this hard rock qualifier. You do it, and then you register for hard rock. You don't get in. You get a bit frustrated, and then the next year you do it again because you really want to get in, right? But you don't get in because it's so difficult. Hard rock is super tough. Of course, it's all luck driven. I have friends that got in on the first year. I have friends that they've been registering for 15 years and they didn't get in, But where I'm trying to get here with this is, after 5 years, I forgot why I'm registering for hard rock qualifiers. I just do it as part of every year. I know I have to do 200 milers, and one of them is a hard rock qualifiers, pretty much always. And then I was just going and doing it. And the day that hard rock came, of course, it was but I kept that. It's not this. It's a habit. Every year I do a hard rock qualifier, regardless whether you get in or you don't get in, and that keeps you going for many reasons. I don't do this to say, okay, I've done 4 trails. I've done UTMB, check, and now I can change. This is what I want to do.
So it's just who
And
you are,
there's
it's
a
your
lifestyle.
identity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How does this affect your work? Are there positives and negatives, or is it all mainly positives?
I think it's positive. Yeah, I think it's pretty much always positive. The negative part is maybe the time, I guess, right? But I only find positives.
I see.
I only find positive. Yeah.
Do you ever find anything else to be remotely as challenging as what you've done? Like, for example, say there is a big project at work or whatever, like whatever project at work, compared to running 600 kilometers or attempting, say, 380 kilometers over 4 days, right? I can imagine nothing work-wise can even appear remotely challenging, right?
No, yeah, there are different challenges, right? Like we were talking about hard rock and Camino de Santiago. Work is work, and you are dealing with many more variables, and most importantly, variables that you cannot control. Sometimes it's not under your control, like the weather. If you put the analogy, you are dealing with people, you are dealing with teams, you are dealing with people with their own agenda, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they're supposed to be aligned to what you want to do, but in reality they are after something, right? Something else. The timing. So it does help that, yes, I will admit that sometimes you translate how you tackle one of these challenges with your work, in the sense that you break it down. But like normally, as any project, you break it down into manageable pieces, and it's a matter of putting it all together. But more importantly, I think it's one thing that I can kind of highlight is be ready for the unexpected. It helps you deal with unexpected situations, and because also I'm coming from technology, I have many years facing business, as in trading desks, and when you're facing an important business with the speed, the pace of the activity, many things can go wrong. As much as you plan, you do production checks, you do releases, you do everything tested. And you have users, you have market events, you have different things happening at the same time. And because I faced many difficult situations, overcoming those situations and being prepared how to adapt to the new situation without going nuts is what helps you keep your cool and manage and be in control, right? So I think there is a lot of commonalities with trail running. I will discuss about running in the night, snakes, leopards, or running out of water, or cramps, or anything can happen, and how you will deal with the situation, and how you manage your objective. Sometimes you wanted to do this, but you need to change your route, right? Yes.
Are you secretly hoping that your children will follow in your footsteps? You want to be running with them one day?
I would love to, but no. What my message for them, I mean, when they were super young, I would take them for hikes everywhere. Now that they are teenagers, they develop their own independence, their own decisions, and whenever we go hiking, they don't like it. But to get them out to do it, we have a bit of. But once we are at the peak, they love it, and I think that's great. For me, with the kids, it's not the now; it's the later, when they are going through difficult situations in their career or whatever they end up doing. I want them to self-reflect on the things I've done, and they were part of this journey. And I would like them to bring back those memories, to say, I can manage this. More than the hiking itself or the trail, is the moment, that the difficult situation that they see me going through and taking. Actually, my dad would have done this. I want them to remember this.
Wow. During these long runs, right? What do you think of?
Pretty much about everything, I would say. About everything and nothing. So there are these two extremes. There are moments that you don't think, you want to think about nothing, so you control you stop the negativity or things that can jeopardize, that will come against you for facing a difficult climb, or you're not going to meet a certain objective, time, whatever you want to do. So you try to think about nothing, but at the same time that thought creates the line of thinking about something new that you had very deep in your head. So something will trigger and you start thinking and you get lost on your way. In the very few years of running, I used to go through my teenage life, university. I used to think a lot about my past, but nowadays not anymore. And I just let free when the line of thought comes. Sometimes I think about work. Sometimes I will think about some conversation I had with my kids, something that I should have done it differently. Maybe I think about that kind of stuff as well.
Sounds like meditation, yeah. Like so many different thoughts, and you try to channelize.
That's right.
Oh, Chang, that was fantastic.
Good.
And I wanted to get into nutrition and all that, but I think we'll say that for another time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, nutrition is very important. We can do a separate one just on nutrition. Yes.
I loved it, and I have to tell you this, right? I mean, you make it sound very easy, but there was one time when I went with I forgot her name. I think it was Denby a long time ago. Denby Low,
Uh-huh.
We were marking the trails in the night, right? And then for Moontrek or some event, I don't remember which one, right? And then Denby quit on top of Phnom Penh. So I had to go by myself. It's nothing. It's like hardly 6 kilometers back down to Tung Chung from Phnom Penh, right? And I had to go through all the dogs, the village
Oh
dogs.
my God, yes.
And I was so scared. It's nothing. Like 6 kilometers going down, and it
In
was
the
like
evening.
about 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah.
The dogs and whatever, I mean, I know it's scary how you did what you did, right? Like the going through Sri Lanka, Pekoe Trail and all that. I gotta say, you make it sound easy, but I know how difficult it could be when you're actually there and doing it. So it's amazing what you've accomplished.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I saw the article as well on on one of the papers. I saw that in the, I don't have it here. I saw it somewhere on here. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's you. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, the Pekoe Trail.
That was the second day. You can see the face. My face was already so tired.
And I actually played this video to everybody in the office as well.
Ah, really?
Yeah, a while
Nice.
ago.
Thank you.
And
I
this
think
is-
they're coming with a second. They have so much material from that event. Now they told me they're about to release a new promotional thing on the.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe one day I'll do part of it.
Yeah, you should go
I'm
and
not
do it
the-
as a family
yeah.
trip or anything to do some of the sections. Yes, it's beautiful, really.
And
Totally
finally, I saw
recommend.
this a couple of weeks ago. UTMB.
That's right.
That's how it feels, when
That's
you're
right.
when you feel like
Like shit.
why am I doing this? This is the mental and physical pain, I suppose. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
it's UTMB. Excellent. Well, Chang, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for having me and giving me
Yeah.
this opportunity. I love talking about this stuff, and if I can help motivate people to go out and do stuff, I'm already super happy.
Well, you motivated me to come back to Hong Kong from flattish Singapore.
Good, all right.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, Chang. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
man. Thanks.